Good morning. Today, this video is going to be about just reminding you of the important settings in Zoom. I'm going to hide my webcam here. So when you log into Zoom, remember you log in with your school account, your school Gmail address, and your password. And then when you come into your dashboard, as it were, you click on settings. And then these are the main settings for your meeting. First one, you must make sure under security is your waiting room. The waiting room should be enabled, so make sure the button is clicked to the right, that it's blue. These are by default. Now, passcodes and passwords are set into the system. You can change it if you want to. The passcode already scheduled for meetings. You can edit that if you want to, but I just leave it default, the system default. As I said, these are all, you cannot change these. Embed passcode into invite link for one-click join. I suggest you do that when we create our Zoom lessons. You keep it this way so that the students don't have to put in the password. The password will be included in the link, and it's going through manage back, so it will be secure. And then during the video, you can have these choices here to start. Your host video is on, your participant video is on by default. Those are, it's up to you. You can change those. Then as far as this join before the host, do not have that enabled, because that will allow you, because we have the waiting room enabled, so the students can only be entered by yourself or admitted into the lesson. That's just another security. Once again, if you see a name that you do not recognize, do not enter it. Do not allow them to enter your lesson. That's just a reminder. In the meeting ID, some of these are just by default. You can mute participants upon entry if you want to. You can have upcoming meeting reminder that will have a desktop notification. Chat, allow meeting participants to send message visible to all participants. You can do that and prevent them from saving chat. This should be disabled. Allow meeting participants to send private one messages to another. Disable that. And then auto-saving chat, automatically saved all in-meeting text so that hosts do not need to manually save. That you can, it's a choice if you want to automatically save or not. Chats are not really important, but that's up to you. The sound notification when someone joins or leaves, that's just that little ding dong sound you have. I just had that set for everyone, so everyone knows that somebody's entering the room. If you're transferring files, also once again, just be careful of this one. Hosts and participants can send files through the in-meet chat. I'm going to disable that. It's just also a security thing. You don't want all sorts of things to be shared. So you can specify what type of files you want, only PDF or docx or Excel files. But for now, I'm just going to disable it, because if there are any files you want to share, you can just do it through ManageBack. These are just built-in functions. Feedback to Zoom, the experience feedback survey. It's up to you. Meeting control bar that you have during the meeting. You have your control bar at the bottom. I just have that enabled all the time. Show Zoom windows during screen share. I have that enabled as well, so that you can see the students during screen share. And then screen sharing, important, make sure that's on, and only the host can share. You don't want your students sharing all sorts of things. And disable desktop share for users. That I have also enabled that. So that students also, it's just an added bit of security. This annotation, allow hosts and participants to use annotation tools to add information to shared screens. Make sure that's disabled, because we've had things in the past where students have been sharing and annotating over the screen. So we want that to be disabled. Whiteboard, allow hosts and participants to share whiteboard during a meeting. So yeah, you can have that enabled if you want the students to have the access to a whiteboard, or yourself. That is fine. And then if you want to save the whiteboard content, that's always quite handy if you're using whiteboard. Remote control, we don't want that one. Non-verbal feedback, participant meeting can provide non-verbal feedback and express opinions by clicking icons on the participants channel. So I suggest you just if you can disable that. We don't really need it because we don't want any kind of feedback from the students unless we ask for it, and they can either put it in the chat or they can verbalize it. Allow remove participants to rejoin. Sometimes if a student is kicked off for whatever reason, they lose their internet, just make sure that in the past we had that disabled, because if students are disruptive, we move, or if they're late for the lesson, we didn't allow them in, but that just keep that enabled, as I said, because of unstable internet connection. Allow participants to rename themselves. I have disabled that. We stress that the students must use their real names and they cannot change their name, so that's important. Hide participant profile pictures in meeting, that I've disabled that, so their profile pictures will be there. Preferably we want their webcam, but sometimes, as we've said before, their internet connections may be unstable, so we do allow them to switch their cameras off, but they should have a profile picture so that at least you know who you're talking to, but you'll also see it from the name, so that's also up to you. Report participants to Zoom. This is a fairly new thing. So hosts can report meeting participants for inappropriate behavior to Zoom's trust and safety team for review. I've enabled that, so it's just an extra added security. Breakout rooms, this is important. Make sure that this is enabled. If you want to use breakout rooms during lessons, they're quite handy. You can split up the groups. I did make a video about that before. Allow hosts to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling. That's just if you want breakout rooms from the beginning, you can have that during scheduling, or you can do it during the lesson. Once again, it's up to you. This remote support, well, if breakout rooms are enabled, you can't have this, so that's just up to you. That's if you want to remote support to another participant. I suggest having that disabled. This closed captioning, not really using. Firing camera control, no. Virtual background, customize your virtual background to keep your environment private. That's if you want a virtual background or not. Or you can have various borders and things on your, and inserts and things like that on your camera if you want to. That's just really up to you. Identify guest participants in the meeting. So you can if guests, we don't really have guests, so you can have that disabled actually. On to answer group in chat, I have that just disabled. It's about chat. These are just various plugins. Allow a join from browser link. That's just if someone, when they join the meeting, if they have a problem with the Zoom app, they can join through the browser. There is a limited functioning there, but it has the basics. They don't really, that's just a little handy thing to have if they're struggling to join through the client, the Zoom client app. Request permission to unmute. This is to select this option in the scheduler to request permission to unmute meeting participants and webinar panelists. These are this, we just leave that disabled because we have control to mute and unmute. And then the email notification, you get an email notification when attendees join the meeting before the host. Well, they can't really join, they'll be in a waiting room, but you'll get an email notification so that's saying that people are waiting. So I have that enabled, and also when a meeting is cancelled. So you get a notification if a meeting is cancelled. The students get a notification, or anything that anybody who's expecting to attend the meeting. This is also a fairly new thing here in Blur Snapshot. This is if you're using the operating system on iPad. Really never really used that. And then invitation email, obviously we want it in English, and then you can preview it if you want it to look like. And these are just some integrated settings. So those are all the basic settings. And if you need any extra help, once again, please don't hesitate to ask me. And happy Zooming.